Okay, this might actually have been one of the best trips we've ever taken. In just 6 days, we explored Florence, drove through Tuscany, ate some unbelievable food, met random people who became friends, watched Disney movies in a historic cinema, and somehow ended up the trip eating Alfredo pasta in the place where it was invented. So, here's everything we did in Italy. We arrived in Florence exhausted but also excited because this was one of those trips where we've been looking forward to for months. Even walking through the streets for the first time felt unreal. Florence honestly looks like a movie set. Every corner has old buildings, little cafes, tiny streets. It already felt magical. We kept the first night simple and just went for dinner and walked around the city. And honestly, the first dinner in Italy always hits different. Day 2 started with one thing we were determined to try, the famous avocado from Vivoli. We got one pistachio and one classic one. The line looked intimidating at first, but honestly, it moved pretty quickly and it was completely worth it. The pistachio one especially was unreal. If you're thinking about going, definitely try this one. After that, we went to Guinti Odeon, which might genuinely be one of the coolest cinemas I've ever seen. It's this beautiful combination of a bookstore and a movie theater all inside this historic building. When we walked in, Pocahontas was playing, so obviously we stayed. Later, we went to Piazza Santo Spirito, and the vibes there were incredible. There were people everywhere, just sitting outside talking, eating, laughing. It just felt so alive. We also went to the viral photo booth I've been seeing everywhere on Instagram and took some photos there. We also met some people and became friends with them, and we had lunch with them, which honestly became one of my favorite parts of the trip. It's crazy how travel does that. You can meet complete strangers and suddenly you're sharing stories of a pasta in Florence. We went back to the cinema later that night, and this time Lion King was playing. Unfortunately, we walked in right during the Mufasa scene. Terrible timing. We finished the day at Santo Spirito again because the vibes were matched and we just genuinely really love this neighborhood. Day 3 started with another photo booth. Then we went to Move On Record Store, which also has an amazing view of the Florence Cathedral. For lunch, we ate at Trattoria Camillo, and the food was incredible. Honestly, one thing about Italy, every meal somehow becomes memorable. After lunch, we went straight to the Uffizi Gallery. Seeing Botticelli's Birth of Venus in real life was literally surreal. It's one of those paintings you grew up seeing online in books, and then suddenly it's just there in front of you. The whole gallery felt like walking through history. For dinner, we went to Trattoria Casalinga, and somehow the food was amazing again. At this point, we had basically accepted that we were not going to have a bad meal in Italy. Day 4 might have been one of my favorite days of the whole trip. We picked up a rental car and started driving through Tuscany. And this was exactly how you imagine Tuscany looking. Rolling hills, vineyards, tiny roads, little towns everywhere. It honestly felt unreal.
We are in Lupaya. It's a beautiful day. The food was amazing.
Our first stop was Lupaya. This place was absolutely beautiful. The food, the views, the atmosphere, everything felt peaceful. I think this was the moment where we really slowed down and appreciated everything.
We're in Pienza.
Later we drove to Pienza and spent the afternoon there. Pienza was so charming. Tiny streets, little shops, amazing views. Definitely one of my favorite towns we visited. Then we headed to Montepulciano. We got drinks there and walked around while the sun was starting to set. And I may or may not have bought a new leather bag. Honestly, no regrets.
on the way to Rome.
On day 5, we drove to Rome, which took us almost about 3 hours. And the second we arrived, the energy completely changed. Florence felt calm and romantic. Rome felt loud, chaotic, and alive. First stop was obviously the Trevi Fountain, and wow, it was crowded. But seeing it in person was still worth it. And of course, we made a wish. After that, we got another affogato in Piazza Navona and just sat there for a while taking everything in. Then we went to Trastevere for dinner. And this is where we had what might have been the best thing I ate this entire trip. Pizza from Pizza Trilusa. The vibes in Trastevere at night are just through the roof. Everyone here is happy. The atmosphere is booming with energy and life. It immediately became one of my favorite neighborhoods I've ever been to. Day 6 started early because we decided to go back to the Trevi Fountain in the morning. It was less crowded and we actually got to enjoy it. We paid the €2 entrance to get close to the fountain and it was completely worth it. After that, we went to the Colosseum, and no matter how many times you see it online, standing there in person is just different. For dinner, we went to Alfredo alla Scrofa. This place is famous because it's considered the birthplace of Alfredo pasta. The story goes that Alfredo di Lelio created the dish in Rome in the early 1900s for his wife using butter, parmesan, and pasta. Over time, it became famous around the world, especially in America, although the original version is much simpler than most people know today. And yes, it lived up to the hype. Somehow we ended up the night back in Trastevere because we just loved it there so much. On our last day, we had breakfast with friends before heading to the airport. And honestly, that's what made the trip so special. It wasn't just places, it was random moments, the conversations, the late dinners, getting lost in little streets, watching Disney movies in Florence, driving through Tuscany. It's one of those trips I know we'll talk about for years. If you're thinking about visiting Florence, Tuscany, or Rome, just do it. Every place we went to was incredible, and I would genuinely recommend all of them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.